Okay, a couple things. First of all, we're going to look at college because we can kind of cover everything today. At the University of Wisconsin in 1993, there were 26,000 full-time employees, okay? 10 years later, the number of full-time employees went up from 26,000 to 33,000, but the number of faculty fell from about 7,200 to 5,800. So there was a dramatic cut in the number of faculty and a dramatic increase in the number of what I'll call administrative staff, something that wasn't teaching. Can you comment on that to me at all? I believe that's a nationwide trend, and that's why I want to bring it up, because we always talk about cost of education. It seems to me, I mean, I've talked to some people in the universities, they try to give me honest answers, but what's the deal on that? Somebody want to comment on this?
America's universities absolutely have a spending problem. U.S. universities and colleges spend more per student than any other large country in the developed world, and the University of Wisconsin is just one example.
Okay, well, that's good. Then we'll give you another question. Different countries start educating their students formally at different ages. And in America, they can be 5 years old, can be 6 years old, whatever. But there's no question that some countries, and I'm thinking countries like Finland or Singapore, they start a formal education later and thereby have a higher percentage of the children with their parents. Do you know why we are, or could you comment on this idea, the American idea of at cost, trying to get the children away from their parents earlier and earlier, which I hear a lot of some advocates for, as opposed to doing it in other countries where we have more confidence in the parents? Have some comment on that?
Is that an open question?
Yeah, well, I just want to comment on that. Why maybe we don't try to, since we're supposed to be a free country here, why don't we emulate countries like Israel? Emulate countries like Finland and Singapore, where, you know, the parents are primarily responsible for the children at a younger age.
Well, studies have shown that universal pre-K has boosted the ability of students to succeed in every context. If you invest in pre-K, you see the dividends returned at every other step of the education system. The other countries that you refer to that enable parents to stay with their children longer also have social supports for those families. They have a social safety net. They have other income that they provide for families in order to sustain their economic wherewithal when they are unable to work because they are taking care of their children.
Right, I'm familiar with the Brookings Institution study on Head Start, and it showed it wasn't that good. Do any of the other three of you have an opinion on getting kids in a formal setting or at a younger age?
I think the devil is in the details and how we execute on some of these things. The programs that we're seeing, the pervasive poisonous ideology in K-12 schools, if we start that even earlier at younger ages, 3, 4 years old, and we start to teach children to identify themselves and others on the basis of race, sex, or other immutable characteristics, I think it really continues to exploit the power dynamic between an adult and a child. And so to the extent where parents want to keep their children home, I think universal pre-K really removes that choice from parents, and that's something that I oppose.
What I oppose, though, is that what we know is that we have a problem keeping women in the workforce. They disproportionately are responsible for early child care. So to the extent that is an opportunity for a woman to go back to work who wants to go back to work, and this isn't exclusively women, but disproportionately women, we can do that by allowing them to ensure they have high quality care for their children that is also education.
Okay, well, thank you, my conservative witnesses. Next question I have for you. I was talking to some school superintendents recently, and they felt one of the reasons that they were struggling in school to provide a good education is a lot of the children come from difficult family backgrounds. And they felt there was a difference in the children who had a stable two-parent thing. Not that single parents do a fantastic job in many cases, fantastic job. But nevertheless, they felt overall they were able to do a better job with the kids with both parents there. Could you comment on that? Is that we have a decline in America in the number of kids with both mom and dad at home? It seems to hurt the outcomes of the education system. Is that true?
Ian Rowe at the American Enterprise Institute has done terrific research on this, on the success sequence of that children obviously do better with two-parent households. And so to the extent where we see programs in school that discourage or that encourage the disruption of
I'll
the
give you
Western
one more
nuclear
question here.
family.
We're
The
almost done
gentleman's
with my
time has
time.
expired.
Just one more.
We'll have to get the question answered in writing.
Well, I'll let you finish the question then, rather than jumping
done.
and giving her another. Finish your answer.
There are programs in school, right now
think
it's Black
she's-
Lives Matter at School Week, that prioritize the disruption of the Western prescribed nuclear family. That would be a two-parent household. It would be things like that. And so when students are learning and being taught lessons like that, I think it's a negative.
Thank you.
The gentleman's time has expired, and now